Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, as you guessed, that run on slightly lot of gut caught me slightly out there. I finished about a minute earlier than I thought I was going to do. How well do it? It's Taco Tuesday once again, and it is round number 3, and it is the 1.5 hour special. Just take that off there. That really did catch me out there. I expected a couple of minutes out of that. We're here, as I say, for round number 3. It's Brands Hatch, 1.5 hours, 90 minutes of racing. The drivers will have a mandatory pit stops to navigate their way through. Let me just grab this and this. There we go. So we'll just jump in. It's Milden who's, of course, leading the way at the moment. The drivers will be they'll be in quali very, very, very soon indeed. It is, as I say, FRL Milden leading the way. Twice he's been on the podium. Both times it is 3rd place. And he is leading the championship. In fact, he's all square, with TK Drifter, who's been 2nd and 4th. So the two of them splitting the difference there, finding themselves on exactly the same points. Not far behind is Jetpacker Nebula. He too has been on the podium. It was a race win, but 9th in race number 1 has seen him lose touch ever so slightly with the championship leaders. Long season ahead, and we know that he's got pedigree. With the 1st place last week, I'm sure he will be brimming with confidence this week. The only other driver, of course, to make it onto the podium was Arms. Won race 1, didn't take part in race number 2, unfortunately. So we did not see him out on track. Some very quick times, I can tell you, out on track at the moment. The track, even though it's only registered at fast, they're currently lapping about 1.5 seconds quicker than my lap time on an optimum track. So, yeah, they really are putting it in there. Cheeky bit of the Porsche. Let me make sure that's not too loud. Yeah, so, oops, and now the microphone's come loose. You ever had one of those days that feels like a Monday just started all over again? But there we go. So yeah, as I say, it's Milden is leading the way. It's TK Drifter in 2nd, Jetpacker Nebula in 3rd. Rob 2K Cool Racing 4th and 5th in the championship, with Andy Cray in 6th. Ramelson in 7th. Buzzy and Arms 8th and 9th. And it is Blue Mosquito in the Lamborghini, rounding out the top 10 after 2 runs. We do, of course, have 10 rounds to get through, you lucky, lucky, lucky race fans. Tonight, as I've mentioned, Brands Hatch, as you can see there on the screen. Bathurst next week. Then it's Zolder. Definitely a cracker, but not the best track in Belgium by any means. And then Monza, that's going to be a 90-minute as well. Oh yeah, that turn one. Then for the PS5 drivers, the season will be differentiating from the PS4 drivers, because the PS5 drivers have had the American tracks added. So it will be Circuit of the Track Limits, or Circuit of the Americas, to give it its correct name. Indianapolis and Watkins Glen. Yes, indeed, that one deserves a dramatic pause. Absolutely amazing track. Although we'll do have to question the sanity, whoever decided to have the 90-minute at Laguna Seca instead of Watkins Glen. Come on. Really? But there we go, and it will be a season finale, December 20th, in fact, which is, very close to Christmas indeed. So, a few days before Christmas, we will have the finale, 90 minutes at Laguna Seca. So make sure you keep yourself tuned in for the whole series. Let's just drop this. There we go. Qualifying is underway. 15 minutes for our drivers to set times. That's... Oh. Stop. Let's make sure that moves. There we go. And there we go. Slightly nervous there. We do love it when the technology sticks. Just all it takes is just that little tiny stutter to make your heart do all kinds of flutter. We'll be fully utilising the camera facilities that are available to us. It's still a bit ropey for me for some reason. This is where I press the square button. We'll get kicked out, so there we go, first spin. Track still only registered as fast as well, 21 degrees. So pretty decent temperature as far as setting quick lap times go, with the tarmac underneath the tyres. Not as grippy as perhaps the driver would like. Pause, just have a little look about there. There is Jetpack and Nebula. He is leading the way, first driver out of the pit. In fact, I tell you what, we'll get brave. Come on, let's go for it. There we go, let's jump on board and do a lap into turn number 1. Extreme caution has been advised by the race director. It is as difficult as it looks, and there's Jetpack and Nebula proving exactly why. Paddock Hill Bend, of course, the track originally ran in reverse. It was a bicycle track. You used to have to push your bike up there. That was Pilgrim's Rise down through Druids on his way into Graham Hill Bend. Very easy to run right here along the bottom Cooper Straight and then into a corner, which I just... Ooh, not a big fan of this one personally. Surtees, almost a double apex before you get yourself down onto Pilgrim's Drop, and it is quite the drop. The game doesn't really do it justice. We can see the ground suddenly disappear. Straight down the hill they go into Hawthorne's Bend. Very easy again. To get this one wrong, you need to carry as much momentum on that corner exit as possible. Then the triple right-handers from hell, as I unaffectionately call these 3 corners. They've been my undoing so many times. It is Hawthorne, Westfield, along Dingles Dell. One in through Sheens there. Stirlings, the penultimate corner. Another corner so easy to run by, but you need to carry again as much momentum as possible. Clark Curve. The finish there is the pit entrance on the right hand side. As you can see, even on the home, the start finish straight. Not exactly straight, not exactly level. Again, turn number 1 just really is all kinds of nightmare. The steering, you feel the weight you feel pulling back on the steering wheel as you hit that curve at the bottom of that hill. Yeah, exhilarating is certainly a word you could use for it. Yeah, so I think we've been brave enough there for a while. So let's do that. And let's have a look at some timings. It is Milden Championship leader, and he's leading the way in qualifying at the early exchanges. Still 11 minutes to go. 1 minute 24.8. He's lapping in exactly the same time for Jetpack and Nebula in the Porsche, and Renville in the BMW. Cool Racing in a Mercedes, Buzzy in a McLaren, and then TK Drifter in a Nissan, bringing us a huge variety of cars inside the top 6, and indeed Rob 2K in the Bentley and Amps in the Audi. The only car repeating itself in the top 8 is the Mercedes there. Aston Martin joining in there in 9th, Rob 2K. Andy Cray popping a Bentley in there in the top 10. 2 Bentleys, 2 Mercedes then leading the charge. I can just see Andy Cray there coming down into turn number 2. WTR in the Ferrari. I'm not biased, you are. 13th at the moment. It's coming through Clark Curve. We set the time once again. Let's stay on board and see what sort of time he sets. Oh, indeed, he has improved. And Oof being the, of course, technical malevolent Majin. The malevolent one certainly showing malevolence towards Milden's time with almost 8/10 of a second put between himself and the Mercedes. Cool Racing backing up Milden in the Mercedes WTR. In the Ferrari temporarily in third, now finds himself still on row 2, but now in 4th place with the exact same time as Rob 2K in the Bentley. It is getting spicy. There's 90 minutes of racing to come. My gold ticker might not make the end of this one. G Harvey, 16th at the moment, Valren just ahead. GT Jamie temporarily popped up the pit stop. Flying From used to set a time as well. Will himself and Blue Mosquito be a attached nose to tail again, like they were last week at Misano. Of course, the highlights from Misano running at the start of the programme. So running out 30 to 40 seconds earlier. That was advertised. Caught me on the hop. We are back in the game. Good evening. If there's anyone in the chat, for some reason again I can't seem to see the chat, so I do apologise for not interacting with anyone. I hope you're all enjoying the show. It's round number 3, 90 minutes we've got tonight. This is Tier 1, the Pro drivers, as you can tell by the time, 1 minute 23.3. My goodness. And not even an apology in chat. I mean, really. Some people. Jetpack and Nebula's got himself ahead of Milden, but again, an almost identical time. 5 thousandths of a second separate the Porsche and the Mercedes. So yeah, the German manufacturers doing particularly well on British soil, as we can see. AMS 100% win rate in this series. He's taking part in one race and he won it. There we go. Fourth at the minute, almost bang on a second off the top spot. 7.5 minutes still to go, so we're only just approaching the halfway mark in the qualifying. Still got a couple of drivers to set times as well. Romario, if he can drive as well as he played football, he's surely got to be a championship favourite. Man, that boy could play. Flying Throme, he could definitely drive as well. Cameraman trying to catch up there. Well done. There we go. Just coming along Dingle Dell, firing his way towards Sheen. That's Clark. Yeah, Stirling. Shows what I know. We do need a better helicam. I know we keep saying thank you and please and thank you. And we're grateful for what we've got, but can we get a proper helicam? It's only camera number 2. Camera set 2 for anyone that broadcasts the PC side of this, they know what I mean. In fact, I think most of the time it's camera set 1, which is great, but just give us a bit of airtime so I can better assess the situation. Nebula Milden, he's assessed the situation and he said, Nebula, no thanks, I'm going to put 0.3 of a second between us, while AMS gets very close. 5,000 was separating Milden and Nebula. There's now 400ths 400ths separating Nebula from AMS, very respectfully waiting on the pit exit there. It's primely poised into turn number 1. This Flying Throme across the line, still no time set. That wasn't Flying Throme, that was Blue Mosquito. 18th at the minute. Will we see Throme set a time? What's happening up at the top of the pack? AMS still ahead of TK Drifter. The Nissan GTR, or GR as they say down under, if you know you know. He is putting in a good showing in that car. There is a static shot of the crowd. Give him a wave. Another little wave back. Milden, he's in the garage. So's Jetpack and Nebula. Malevolent Magian, 1 minute 23.3 on a fast track. It's not even optimum, and you're almost 2 seconds quicker. Well, if I need a confirmation why I'm on a microphone in this lot of driving, I think these times see it all. Jetpack Milden leaving the pits, 5 minutes out. Ooh, AMS, the triple right-handers from hell, they gon' get somebody. TK Drifter, teleport back to the garage, get a fresh set of tyres on there. TK Drifter having a good lap. Of course, we don't have as much access to telemetry. Sort it out, please, Sony. It's a simple open. Worked on Project Cars 2. It's the same company. Let's just get that fixed, shall we? So we're not entirely sure who's on a quick lap, who's not. Expect big things though. Rob 2K at corner. Very, very, very quick at corner, of course. An F1 driver. Originally, quite a few drivers coming over from the F1. Cool Racing could definitely improve. I would say he's definitely got more in the tank. Andy Cray could sneak a couple in there. KOL fighting as well, actually. I do apologise, he was down the order. I did clock his name a couple of things in the Ferrari further down the order. And he has gotten himself into the top 10. So, here's the thing. Ask some. Let me just see if I can see. Okay, hopefully that doesn't do anything with the sound. But yeah, I think I can see the chat now, fingers crossed. So there is really anyone out there. Hello, hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Apologies if you have been typing in so far and haven't been able to read it. For some reason, YouTube can be a bit temperamental when you're using Streamlabs OBS. So it's probably Streamlabs OBS, but good evening, how you all doing? Any hot tips for tonight's race? Who do we fancy winning this one? What's the manufacturer we'll all be keeping an eye on, obviously. With 3 minutes left to go qualifying, we've got two Porsches walking out the front row of the grid. So a safe bet they're going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the race. KOL Fighter in the Ferrari at the fourth. Arms, he's in fifth. Cool Racing in the pits. He's still got time to get out and set a time if he so desires. GT Jamie, Art Corner, Rob 2K inside the top 10. Renville just outside, only 1300s behind Rob 2K. The BMWs just behind them, or the two BMWs joining them, sorry. 1.3 seconds off the pace, 1.405, 1.4, 1.5, 1.7, 1.7, 1.9, 1.9, 2.0, 2.2, 2.6. Very, very, very close indeed. Half a second though separating the top two. So yeah, pretty much a lifetime at this level. So I should be able to see it, I just can't put it back. Okay. We've got 1 minute 57 left. So we are getting ourselves to the business end. Who's got the nerve to bring this one home? Arms is in the pits. He won't have time to set another time. TK Drifter done as well. So is Clay. And Blue Mosquito himself in flying foam again. Completely inseparable in the Lamborghinis. Can Frome get himself ahead? He is going to have time for another lap, and he has gotten himself ahead. He's gotten himself ahead just. So he is one row up, and he won't be completing another lap then. So he's got the bragging rights for the Lamborghinis and decided that's enough for his qualifying session. Malevolent still out in the Porsche. Just coming down Pilgrim's Drop, so just getting his way into Sector 3 very, very shortly. A minute left. This will be his final lap, and that will be nullified by the in-game stewards for taking too many wheels off track. Jetpacker Nebula has just fallen foul of the same thing, so it's all down to Milden now. Cool Race is still out. GT Jamie, our corner, Rob 2K, Renville. The Nelson's out there as well. We're still on board with Milden. He is the championship leader, so let's see what he can conjure up right at the end. KOL Fighters coming to the pit, so that is one less driver Milden has to worry about overtaking him. Jetpacker Nebula still out on track, obviously just getting a bit of tired day in. Beautiful use of the curbs there by Milden. There is the max weight timer, so 3 minutes the drivers have to finish their laps, and in the 124s. Got the joypad there. Just panicking in case we hit the square button. If you are using the remote player in spectator mode on ACC, please don't press the square button, it stops the game for some reason. Through Clark Curve, no stopping Milden. Is he going to improve? Is it going to be pole position? 6/10 off the pace. No improvement in time. No improvement there, so it will be a best start of fourth for Milden. We've still got Rob 2K on track in the Bentleys. Good to see the Bentley, actually. I remember they used to completely dominate every event on the PC, and then they kind of dwindled down just a bit at a time. Now they're rarer than hen's teeth. Rob 2K is still representing, crosses the line and goes 6th position. He was one of the 3 drivers I mentioned. In fact, Romelson as well. I did mention him. I'm watching the Audi. He's going to cross the line. Doesn't improve on his time, though. Does not improve on his time, so he stays in 16th position. So in the qualifying then, 2 purple sectors and a pole position and a half-second gap. That is impressive in this field if you look at the rest of the times. Half a second, 0.6, 0.6, 0.9, 0.9, 1.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, 1.3, 1.3, 1.4, you get that idea. But Malevolent Imagine 123.392 takes the top spot. He'll be joined by fellow Porsche wizard Jet Packer Nebula. They've locked out the front row of the grid, and they've locked out those purple sectors with Jet Packer, the fastest driver in sector number 1. Cool Racing continues the German domination at Brands Hatch with a Mercedes lockout of row number 2. Himself and Milden doing the honours there. Then it's KOL Fighter in the Ferrari. We've got the Bentley of Rob 2K, then Arms in the Audi 5th, 6th and 7th. Joining Arms on row number 4, it'll be TK Drifter in that Nissan. Slight chink in the armour perhaps. I keep pushing that button. Around Brands Hatch, we've certainly seen great things from the Nissan so far. Expect him to be a serious podium contender come the end of the 90 minutes. Renville on row number 5 with GT Jamie. The BMW and the Aston Martin doing themselves well to get inside the top 10 in a very, very, very strong field. Art Connor and WTR on row number 6 with Andy Cray and R2R Clay. Cray and Clay side by side. It was like last week when Buzzy and Bozzy were right next to one another. I do love your drive. And they're both in BMWs as well. Phenomenal. Buzzy is 15th this week. He's in the McLaren there. Romelson in the Audi. I expected him inside the top 10, if I'm honest. Let's see what happens for him during the race. That is the green Audi we can see in the background there. Then it is the 2 blue Lambos on row number 9. So they did end up on the same row, so they will be starting the race side by side. That'll be Frome with the bragging rights from qualifying, although, as everybody knows, qualifying is vanity, finishing position is sanity. So we'll see who finishes ahead of who come the end of the race. Then it is Romario. May have lifted the World Cup, but didn't quite get himself into the top 10 here at qualifying. 19th place for the Bentley driver, and he'll be joined by another Bentley. It's R2R's G. Harvey. They're on row number 10, or on row number 11 it'll be Valvren and Nico 1891. The McLaren and the Audi R8 there. 1.9, so within 2 seconds of the top drivers of pole position. I do apologise. That's what I was trying to stumble my way through saying. Let's not have a look at cars. I'll drop it. There we go. Oh, we've got something to say. Midfield could be tasty tonight. Barely a second between 5th and 20th. Indeed, Ian Simcox, good evening. How are we doing, bud? Yes, indeed. Very, very, very close indeed. Let's bring this up there. Some of the other stuff that Formula Racing have got going on, well, the drivers get them sorted. The track has been upgraded to optimum, so they're going to get even quicker. So yeah, it's going to be a quick one. 22 drivers. Not a massive amount of tarmac separating the drivers. Only 2.4 miles or 3.9 kilometres if you are that way inclined. Don't worry. I won't hold that against you too much. The track itself, of course, built back in 1950, and as I said, originally it ran backwards. So you genuinely cycled up Pilgrim's Rise. Pilgrim Drop wasn't actually a part of it. It was a kidney shape kind of from Surtees over to Clark Curve, kind of where the shorter, the Indy circuit goes. That was more where the original track went. But yeah, so we will see a lot of blue flag interaction because of the pit stops. The pit lane here is very short, but so is the lap. So believe it or not, a stop at Brands Hatch takes more out of your lap time than a stop at Spa. Wrap your head around that one, but no, genuinely, that's how that works. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the drivers use their 2 stops. Completely random weather. There is 2 cloud icons up in the top corner. Will we see the pitter-patter of tiny little raindrops? One can only hope. So if anyone is out there, feel free to do some rain dancing. Always more than welcome. We do love to see it. Just a quick reminder as well, it is a 10-round calendar, and there's 3 90-minute races on the boards. Monza and Laguna Seca are those 90-minute races. We've got Bathurst and Zolder over the next 2 weeks, followed by their console debut. It is Circuit of the Americas, Indianapolis and Watkins Glen. Oh yeah, Watkins Glen. Guarantee you, it's one of the greatest sim races you'll ever get to watch. So please make sure you're getting tuned in for these, and then will be a season finale. And again, another cheeky guarantee, from what I've seen so far, the championship will not be decided until the top 7 cars, of at least 7 cars, have crossed the line on the last race. Feel free to hold me to that one. The drivers are starting their warm-up lap again. It will be a very short lap. Jetpack and Nebula is very much stationary. He's going to need to move Senior. He's obviously hitting the drive button. There we go, there we go, there we go. There we go, there we go. You can see drivers starting from the pits. It is the warm-up lap, as I mentioned a couple of times. It is a relatively short track, just 2.4 miles long. The original circuit was exactly a mile long. So there we go, had to be done. So that was it. It's a 1 mile cycling track. Phenomenal stuff. But yeah, so big changes, over doubled in size, but still one of the shorter circuits in the motoring calendar. Certainly one of the narrowest as well. There's certainly a few overtaking places. You do need 2 very compliant and capable drivers to make some of them stick. But certainly expect to see moves into turn number 2. Graham Hill Bend, hopefully we see drivers go nose to tail and try to get the slipstream along the Cooper Straight rather than trying anything too clever there. Surtees is certainly someplace you can go side by side and ask a question of an opponent. You might not like the answer that you get, but you can certainly ask. And Stirling's as well, an interesting place to try and pop one up the inside. Really you just have to worry about the traction you get on all 4 wheels and potential penalties from cutting too much of the curb. And of course Clark Curve at the very last corner. Turn number 1, please don't go side by side. Much like Blanchimont, just don't do it. Just don't. It's not worth it. No, come on, don't be idiot. This message brought to you by Arnold. I was going to do another joke, but I can't do that one at this time. Right, let's see what action you can see. 90 minutes, it's Brands Hatch, there's 22 cars, it's 2.4 miles long with 2 pit stops. Exactly. Now the cars are not going to be spread out for any length of time at all. So we will see how we go. As I said, German domination, Porsche row 1, Mercedes row number 2, then the Italians popping in with the Ferrari on row number 3. Malevolent Majin will lead the way. Jetpacker Nebula is going to be off like a rocket, I'm absolutely sure of it. And we'll see if we can catch up with some of the action in the midfield before they hit sector 1. Here we go then. Green lights, and we are racing into turn number 1. Malevolent Majin has kept his lead. Jetpacker Nebula falls right in line. Cool Racing has to think about this one. Mildin. Is Mildin just going around the outside? I think Mildin is up to 3rd place. He is indeed. He's got the move done on Cool Racing. In fact, Cool Racing's dropping right down the order. Who is that that's made his way up through the field? We've got KWL Fighter, who looks like he has got himself behind TK Drifter, who's now potentially into 4th position. Car number 15 is Amsler, who just says that diamond board of days we're running through the field. Hopefully everyone got through. Oh, we've got a Surtees casually there. Nico down at the back of the field. Someone is off the track. Clay, Frome, Romelson, Frome and Blue Mosquito separated. Oh no, they're not separated. Time ago, just needs to once again catch up. Jetpack and Nebula. He's got the overtake done then. Malevolent Magins in 2nd position. Milden's in 3rd. Rob 2K. What a start there then. He's up to 4th place. Cool Racing 5th. TK Drifters up to 6th position. K-Well Fighter in 7th. Arms in 8th. Renville in 9th. GT Jamie 10th. Art Connor in 11th, all very close in the back of the lot. Dust getting kicked. Oh, and we've got a car down. That is Romelson, who was making his way through the field, and he now finds himself at the back of the field. He's now dead last. He's just lost 8 positions. Jetpack and Nebula, he hasn't lost any time at all and gapping the rest of the field into turn number 1. He's got 9/10 of the lead over the Malevolent one. It's Milden who's in 3rd place, and Rob 2K still in that 4th place. Ahead of Row 2 starter Cool Racing. TK Drifter up a position as well, the expensive K-Well Fighter, and Arms is hanging right back onto them as well. I dare use the phrase chasing pack, but the biggest gap you can see inside the top 10 is between Arms and Renville, and Renville's got GT Jamie right in his back pocket. A bit of a gap back to Art Connor on his way into Surtees. Andy Crane, WTR potentially swap places in the background there. R2RK, Frome and Blue Mosquito still as you were at the gear, despite what the early telemetry led us to believe. G. Harvey coming down Pilgrim's Drop in that Bentley. There's a Honda getting involved there as well. I do apologise, that is a Honda. Why can't I see a Honda on the timing dials? Am I missing something here? Sorry. Nissan, Ferrari, Audi, Aston. Where's the Honda? Okay, so he's in a Honda and that says Bentley. I do apologise. Sorry, that's really confusing me. Yeah, but he is definitely in a Honda and that's a Bentley badge. So yeah, so that's confused me. I do apologise. And let's get back to the race then. Andy Gray, fastest lap of the opening proceedings. Art Connor, I think he has got the move done on GT Jamie then. So yeah, he has. He's got himself just ahead. Let's have a look up at the front. And Jetpack and Nebula again, not wasting any time. He's found half a second while I was confused. And I tell you, SBR Milden round the outside, makes that one stick. What a manoeuvre, Milden. He's going for driving the week, that is for sure. Malevolent Maginin from pole position down to 3rd in only 2 laps. No time wasted there by Milden, trying to protect his championship. Please, Rob 2K. He's got he's worked out for protecting his position. Cool Racing needs to be very careful as well, because TK Drifter in the Nissan. He could pull a very clever move there. Cool is going to have to give up on any aspirations getting an overtake done. Wily defence from Drifter, of course. He doesn't want to try and overtake on Rob and then find himself hung out to dry. If TK Drifter then tries to get an overtake, he could end up finding himself boxing himself in or out, depending on which way the corner goes. Huzzle look up the inside. Tries to force the defensive move, and I'll tell you, Rob 2K very politely left the door open there. Hunter to close that, didn't stick to the driving line. Cool Racing had to back off, exit dab on the brakes, and it is TK Drifter along into Surtees. He is definitely the threat here. The K-Well Fighter, Arms and Renville all very close in behind. GT Jamie just dropping off ever so slightly, but a bit of dust kicked up from the BMW. You can see him go straight back into this one again now. Down into Hawthorns. Difficult right-hander then. It is Rob 2K still leading the pack. Malevolent Mansion has been overtaken for 2nd place by the fastest driver on track. It's SBR Miller. Look at them all flying through that right-hander. That was GT Jamie just bringing up the rear of the shot with the cameraman struggling to keep up with the pace. that the drivers are showing. Apparently I'm still going to keep up with my own pace as well, but there we go. Cool Racing and TK Drifter, look how close they are. Right, you know what, I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be brave, let's do this. Oh, and as soon as they do, we've got a driver down. So now we're just left at the mercy of Cameron. Let's jump on the helmet cam then. So we're left at the mercy. This is AMS that we are on board with now then. Oh, that's taking us to the Melson. So there we go. Nico, come on, give me something at the front. No, we don't like that. Let's give up on that experiment. Yeah, it doesn't let you choose who you jump up down to. It just goes random. So we'll jump back here so we can see what's going on. And it is KOL Fire. Look at that. Talking about equilibrious gaps. 410s, 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 410s. They're all separated by a bit of slipstream and dirty air. Malevolent Imagine is firing straight back there, and he's using that slipstream that he's getting from Milden. He's just set the fastest lap of the race so far. 4 laps in, 1.2 seconds. So now that Milden's gotten himself ahead of the Malevolent one, he's closed the gap by 4 tenths to Jetpacker Nebula just ahead. Look at Malevolent Imagine all over the back there. Milden going to have to go super defensive to hold this one off. Perhaps the two of them could somehow work together because they're showing absolute bang on the same pace. Cool Racing, Hotly still following Rob 2K with TK, Drifter, KOL Fighter, and I'm still very much in contention for top 5 honours. Renville right in there as well. GT Jamie second off the back of this pack, but it is a big battling pack. You can easily get 2 to 3 places here. If one of the drivers ahead makes even the simplest of mistakes, battles right through the field with the replay function here. Now we've got Art Connor trying to get his way past Andy Cray. WTR in 13th place as well. Only 7/10 of a second separating these 3 drivers. Battle for 11th place then. Clay trying to find his way past Blue Mosquito. He's got himself between the 2 Lamborghinis from running wide through turn number 1. He's going to lose a whole handful of positions there. Valren or Romario making his way through. He started in 22nd, so he's made his way up a few places. Nico Romelson hasn't quite recovered from that lap 1 incident. G. Harvey, who is in a Honda, not a Bentley, thanks very much time to go. And Buzzy has come in to take his first mandatory pit stop. First driver to do so, 5 laps and a mere 9 minutes into the race. Of course, these cars can do about a minute 12 to a minute 16, and can do about an hour 12 to an hour 16 on a petrol tank. Probably get about that out with tyres as well, so certainly pitting this early will not be a problem for his overall race strategy. It's certainly not going to put him in any precarious position. He can pit halfway through the remaining split. That's a safe. Oh, look how close you're rolling. 60 minutes. No, of course it's not 60 minutes side of me. 40 minutes side of me. I do apologise. I'm an absolute brain melter, the action that we're watching here. Oh, the Porsche again pops out the slips. You can see the back end as well. Cool Racing still trying to craft an overtake. DK Drifter opening up the corner as much as possible, trying to get a tighter apex and a quicker run down the hill. He knows that KOL Fighter won't be slow and getting an overtake should an opportunity present itself. R2R Play is looking to do the same thing. I'll just take a quick drink here. The action's coming thick and fast. We've still got, look at Malevolent Imagine all over the back of Milden now. Right, let's try this again. Let's hope we don't go full cost of the commentator on this one. And it's just changed driver on us. Excellent. Can we get back to where we were? Okay, we're on board with Milden. You know what, that's close enough to where we want to go. So there we go. Let's do a bit of helmet cam. You can see how you got. Oh, I pushed the square button. We didn't get kicked out. There we go. You can see in the rear view mirror. No, you can't because the FRL logo's there. Aha! Excellent. Oh, there you go. You can. You can just about see him in the corner there. Yeah, let's jump on board. Let's do a lap in helmet cam. This is the battle for the lead. There's Buzzy still in the pits, and I know I said it was a while you were in the pits. I don't think quite that long, so hopefully he is still running. He shouldn't be taking on that much fuel this early unless he's just literally done his first 2 laps. Excuse me, with only 2 laps. Look how close Malevolent's getting there, and as you can see from the live time, and only half a second now separating Jetpacker from Milden. At one point that was up to 1.6 seconds, so he really has closed that gap on, we can see, on his way into Surtees. Again, you can see the drivers trying to open up the corners as wide as possible to try and find a way past on the corner exit. Looking for a cutback almost from the Malevolent Magin. Third place still in the background. Milden looking very calm and collected to come through. You can see just how much the track undulates. This one of the flattest parts, or certainly one of the most level parts of the track, and then straight back downhill again, straight back uphill. Quite the elevation. Again, the braking zone there. You only really know when to hit the brakes when you see the orange marker on the right appear at the top of the fence. You don't even see the corner, and you hit the brakes and start turning in. This, of course, the last straight before Clark Curve that takes us past the pit entrance. As I was saying, because of the way these cars are made, you can easily do almost the whole 90 minutes on one pit stop. So the 2 pit stops will be purely strategic. Jetpacker Nebula with a 124 there, Milden and Malevolent with that 1 minute 25. Look out close. Yeah, but actually properly breathed in there. Let's go back to this camera and see how the rest of the field's getting on. If I tell you what, now who's it giving us then? Oh, Cool Racing's found his way past Rob 2K then. So while we were watching the battle for second and third, and I tell you, TK Drifter looks like he's having a nosy in the back of his KO Whale Fighter again. As I mentioned, he could be the driver most benefiting from this, and he's right on the back of this battle. Cool Racing is looking to gap these drivers already. Rob 2K coming under some amount of pressure, and there's Malevolent Magin again popping out the slipstream, trying to have a look to find his way past SBR Milner to get back up into second place. Started, of course, on pole position, and now finds himself in the third, still an hour and 17 minutes and 44 pit stops to be taken, so a lot of time action. And let's just have a look over the hill again, and we're going to get there we go, back to Milden. Oh, Magin absolutely in that slipstream, pops out on the outside. Is he going to have a look into turn 1? Milden, is he going to leave the door open? He is indeed. The post tries to go around the outside, opens the corner. Now he's looking for the cutback into turn number 2. Does he have the runner on Milden? Takes a very nice middle line then. Ooh, bit of a wiggle from the Porsche, and there we go. First unforced error, or forced error, considering how close the two of them are driving to one another, but it is Malevolent who makes that little spin. There's G Harvey, there's Jetpack and Nebula, Malevolent. Renville, he's still got GT Jamie very close to him. Andy Crane 10th, there's Clay. Buzzy still in the pits. And Connor is down in 21st, so there's been an issue there for Connor, that's for sure. There is the Mario. Rob 2K still behind Cool Racing at the moment. He's got TK Drifter. Slight gap he's got now. Just close back up on the back of Cool Racing then. It did look like Cool was getting himself a bit of a gap ahead of the rest of the field, but he's closed right in again. And it's now TK Drifter who's in fact dropping slightly off KWL Fighter. Looking to make an overtake there on the Nissan. Just ahead, we can see Malevolent still trying to make a move there. It really is random, this car to put you on. Arms, that BMW, and Blue Mosquito, Clay and Blue Mosquito, very close to Arms as well. We've seen him win race number 1, didn't take part, of course, in race number 2. Here he is out on track at the minute. Buzzy. Yeah, it does look like it might be a race done for Buzzy. It does say he's 21st. We can start with 22 drivers. 126.1, 125.8 for Val Renz. He's quicker than the drivers just ahead of him. So is Nico and Flying From. Not being held up by cars as close as some of these other drivers. So certainly playing into their hands. There is a couple of yellow flags there. Let's just get back and have a look and see what we can see. Jetpack and Nebula still in the first place. It's Milden in second. What's happened there? Malevolent Magin has suddenly tumbled down the order. Right, let's be brave. Okay, so Malevolent Magian, here we can see he's behind. Yep, he's behind Milden still, 3rd place. Hopefully, if this does crash the race, I do apologise. I will get logged back in as quickly as possible, but we'll see what happens. Now, let's just see how well the replay holds up. So on his way into Clark Curve again, he was all over the back, has a look up the inside of Clark Curve, potentially pulls back into slipstream, opens up the corner, all fine and well on the exit of Clark Curve. Now, it was not long after here we joined. Tyson went outside, so how far is this? Oh, goodness me. That was a fair chunk of go. Okay, it won't ask. Oh, okay. So the area is still behind Milden, still behind Milden. Oh, okay. So he tapped Milden on the way into Surtees and then took himself off. So that's Milden as well then. So that's what I didn't realise as well. So Milden is going to tumble down the order as well. That's 8th place. That's Renville and GT Jamie. They're right now in the middle of, so I didn't even register that Milden Championship leader is now well and truly down the order. Let's get back out with that replay. But there you go, that definitely worth jumping on board to see that there. So that's exactly what happened. So it is, and Milden's come into pits. Milden's come into pits, he's going to take his mandatory. We do only have 20 drivers left out on track, but there's Milden coming in, Malevolent in 6th position, so it is GT Jamie and Renville who was ahead of. They showed different numbers on the car, they were showing 8th as well. Oh yeah, of course, it was still in 8th there, so that's cool racing then, and the Rob 2K promoted up to the podium with a good gap there as well for Rob over Cool Racing. Better gap for Jet Packer Nebula though. They were really closing in, those two podium protagonists. Jet Packer Nebula now got almost 4 seconds back to the rest of the field. No such luck for Cool Racing. He's got TK Drifter sat in the back seat of his car. He's definitely in the boot of that thing of raking about for golf balls. You can see how close he is at the moment. KOL Fighter tucked right in there as well. Malevolent Magian, fastest lap so far of the race, now finds himself in 6th position. Excuse me, and potentially a trip into the steward's office for that contact into Surtees, which has seen himself and Milden tumble down the order. Milden now out, the only driver on track to have taken a mandatory pit stop, back up on track in 19th position. Budgie has taken a stop, just unfortunately hasn't come back out again. Close battle still between WTR Arms and R2R Clay. They've all been promoted to position as well with that pit stop from Milden. They'll have to take one. They'll be taking 2, of course, as well. Malevolent Magian, let's just watch this battle up in front of us. This is still podium positions very much up for grabs. Rob 2K now at the 4 seconds behind Jet Packer Nebula, so the Nebula doing exactly what he needs to do. Paying no attention to what's going on around him and getting himself some very quick, clean, consistent laps and keeping that gap. He's just lost half a tenth there on that last lap, but the gap will grow. If I have a look at this group here, there's only 3 tenths separating Malevolent from KOL Fighter. Half a second. Rob 2K, the cork in the bottle in a minute. He's got Cool Racing Team Drifter, KOL Fighter. The Malevolent Magian right under his rear spoiler as they come around to start lap number 15 into turn number 1. It's Rob 2K is still leading the pack. Cool of Racing leading the way as far as the chasing pack goes. Stumbling over the old words here, trying to keep up with all the timing that's going on, because AMS really does have a turn of pace over WTR at the moment. He can't quite get the overtake done while he's trying to defend from Clay. That's going to include Mosquito right back into this. Nico trying to get his way past Val Wren as well. G. Harvey has just been overtaken by Milden, as Milden trying to make his way back through the field. Going to be a long race for him, that is for sure. We're on board then with TK Drifter in Nissan. He's finding his way up into 4th place. I did say expected to be there or thereabouts the podium come the end of the race, and he is certainly not disappointed. He is up in the 4th place. He's got K-Well Fighter and Malevolent Margin, who of course we know has got pace. He's got that purple lap next to his name and took pole position. Did play on arms. Has he gotten his way through there? Come on, cameraman. No, he's not quite at the moment. The Audi still holding them off then. Let's get back up to this battle here. Let's get another lap under their belts. The track temperature has dropped slightly, but the track is still optimum. Any colder than 21 degrees, not really the best. 21, a good temperature for the track to be at, to get some proper grip and some really fast times out of the car. Or certainly, if you've got yourself plenty of free air, no such free air for Rob Duquer. Certainly, he's got space in front of him, 4.7 seconds to be precise. Then it was cool racing. TK Drifter, KO Fighter, and Malevolent Margin is still right on top of him. It's a 4-way battle for 2nd and 3rd. GT, Jamie, Renville, Andy Crane, WTR still rounding out the top 10. WTR is in a fairly precarious position. With Arms, Clay and Blue, Mosquito 11th, 12th and 13th. Very, very, very close in behind Val Red. In the McLaren, stayed ahead of Nico, they're 14th and 15th. From Mario up 6 places to 16th. Milden, 1 pit stop in. He finds himself in 17th. G. Harvey 18th. From Melson in 19th. Flying Thromes into pits to take his first mandatory stop. And Buzzy, unfortunately, seems to have retired. I'm not sure if that's a damage or technical issues there. But Buzzy doesn't look like he'll be joining us for the rest of the race, unfortunately. Brands Hatch taking its toll. Very difficult track. Very difficult track. We can see Malevolent Margin, of course, involved in that contact with Milden. Still very much in touch with the leading group. Although trying to get out of that slipstream there, don't want to carry too much pace down the hill. You don't want to run too wide there. We can certainly, of course, at Misano last week, we saw several drivers picking up track penalties, and we saw 3 drivers pick up 2 drive-through penalties for track limits. So we're given what we saw last week. I would guesstimate that this being a half-hour longer race and a much narrower race circuit, we may well see a few of those as well. So the drivers really do need to be on their best behaviour as much as possible. Because as was mentioned, a trip into pits here can be more detrimental than a trip into the pits at Spa due to the length of the lap versus the length of the actual pit lane itself. So a lot of dust kicking up on the grass here. I don't think we're quite into blue flag territory. We've got Flying Thrones still in the pits then. That's quite a long first stop, given an hour and 50 minutes to go, so the drivers need to take on any more than 30 minutes of fuel, given that they've got at least 1 more stop. Froome is still stationary as the lead group comes past once again. 4.9 seconds is now the gap that Jetpacker Nebula has crafted out for himself. It's Cool Racing who is up into 2nd, so he's got that overtake done then. And it's TK Drifter in 4th place trying to get the overtake done on Rob KKL Fighter in 5th, and Malevolent Margin still hanging right in there. You can see KOL Fighter just ahead of him. Let's watch this battle. Yeah, passenger seat's not too great really, is it? Let's go to helmet cam again. You can see he really is all over the back of KOL Fighter here. Trying to find an overtake, trying to find some place to get a run. Oh, well avoided. Wow. How did he manage that? KOL Fighter there makes himself a bit of a mistake, touches the grass. on the exit then, and that is going to find him tumbling down the order. That's at least Renville. Oh, is that? If that's only Renville he's behind, that is not bad. It is Renville, so he's only dropped 4 positions there. I say only, that could have been a lot worse, and he's come straight into the pits. It looked like there could have been a bit of damage there. He did exit the track at a fair rate of knots, so an impact with the wall, more than likely then. So a bit of damage in his first trip in the pits. Flying Frome still in there. Milden then, will he get himself? Yes, he has. He's got himself ahead of KWL Fighter. Romario looking to get ahead of Blue Mosquito, who has again been separated from Flying Frome. Frome still in the pits. Drifter looking to get past Rob 2K. Has a little look out the slipstream then. Cool racing. Up into second. 5.4 seconds is the gap. 30 minutes into the race. Will we see Cool close that gap? And when we're going to see the top drivers come in and start taking their pit stop. KWL Fighter still in there. He'll be repairing that damage, so he might be in there for a bit longer than his competitors, unfortunately. But hopefully he can get that sorted out and get himself back out on track. Certainly a worthy addition to the battle in pack. Here's Andy Cray from the top 10 coming in to take his first mandatory pit stop as well. So again, it'll be a good marker to see how much of a recovery drive Milden is on. Oh, look how close Malevolent is getting to TK Drifter. TK Drifter, we were hoping to have got the overtake done on Rob 2K before the Malevolent one got so close. He has not been afforded that luxury though, so he really is going to have to work for this one. Down at Pilgrim's Drop, there is nothing separating the two of them at all. Andy Cray down the order, he is behind Milden, behind Melson as well. Where will he be in comparison to the KWL Fighter? He is back out on track. He's got that car repaired, fueled, and I'm sure retired as well. Some fresh boots for his middle stint. That just moved for no reason, so let's go back to 11 Magia. In fact, let's have a look at R2R Clay. Some blue flags flashing then. Some of the drivers come through the field. Nico and Valren still very much inseparable as well. These two having a great little race for 12th and 13th. 11th and 12th, sorry. It's be interesting to see which of these two pits first. Who pits first up at the top though then? Jetpack or Nebula. Could potentially pit, I mean you would stick the standard strategy would be a pit every 30 minutes. Don't know why there's blue flags flagging. They are obviously for a different part of the track. This is the race leader, there's nobody in front of him. Not far behind them, Cool Racing, and then Rob 2K, TK Drifter, and Malevolent Magian. Very close indeed coming down that hill. Clay on Arms, still very close indeed as well. TK Drifter. Yeah, I tell you what, listen. See, I feel bad every time we jump on board with some of these cameras. Not great things happen. So let's just pray for this. It's a little bit. Yeah, let's jump on board with Malevolent, and then he is the fastest driver on track. 1 minute 24.2, the fastest recorded lap of the race so far. All three do thankfully come past the pit. That would have been horrendous timing. That's Buzzy Flying Frome. So race leader stayed out as well, so that's 30 minutes in the bag and counting for the drivers then. Could all potentially be going for as long a first stint as possible. That of course would give them a better heads up on what the track is doing underneath them. If at this point the track is getting slightly colder and you've got temperature in your tyres, you're as well to stay out and make the most of it. Hopefully you can all still hear me over the engine. They are a bit loud, aren't they? Yeah, it's probably better if I get drowned out anyway. The pour sounds much better than me, let's face it. Down Pilgrim's Drop. Oh, into Hawthorne. Yeah, we really do want to use, as I was saying, in the qualifying session. Track we really do need to use as much of the curve as possible. I mean, that's actually legal what he just did in the post there. The exit AstroTurf just to the right hand side of the exit kit. And again, through Stirlings, it really is a slow in, quick out kind of corner. You cannot carry too much pace into there, but you really need to carry as much out as possible. Oh, TK drifted with a bit of a wiggle on the exit. Clark Turn has come past the pit entrance. Again, none of the top 5 drivers making their way into the pits. Everyone in the top 5 in the last lap set a lap time of 1 minute 25.1. GT Jamie with a 25.5 there, so they really are lapping so equilibriously. It is unbelievable. The gap not changing at all between Poole and Rob 2K. I'm sure Rob would like to see it improve, but it's not diminishing any, so he'll certainly be happy enough on his way to Pilgrim's Drop. We'd love to see the gap between himself and Jetpack and Nebula drop, and if I'm looking at that correctly, I think he has half the gap. It's back down from 5 seconds to 2.6. So great driving by Cool Racing, coming towards the end of the driver's first stint. I say coming towards the end, we've got 30 minutes in the bag. They could easily be doing close to another 30 minutes in his car, if not slightly beyond. It would seem slightly, yeah, the stretch of the realms, he's stretching the imagination slightly to think that a driver's going to fuel with 2 mandatory stops. The thought of fueling, putting enough fuel in the car for an hour, all that extra weight, perhaps not the best idea. As TK Drifter pops his way into the pits, that's the button, that's the button. So TK Drifter then, first driver from the top 5 to make his way into the pits. Malevolent Majan back up to 4th place then, GT Jamie making his way through, and I was incorrect about that gap. It is still 5.9 seconds, not 2.6 as I declared a moment ago. I do apologise for the misinformation. Romelson's come into the pits as well. An unfortunate lap 1 incident has seen him down the order, but he's got pace for days, so we'll see where he can get back up the field. There's KOL Fighter. He is directly behind Nico. No, he's not directly behind Nico. Nico has taken his pit stop. He is, in fact, behind Arms. So Arms in 7th, KOL Fighter is back up on track. Nico is ahead of Fighter. And he is then, so with the damage that KOL Fighter had to repair, he has fairly dropped down the order. He's now behind Nico, who of course was battling with Val Ren. KOL Fighter was fighting for the top 5 honours. He's now at best 10th position, which would put him someplace in Milden's pocket when this irons out. But those two have taken their pit stops. He's definitely down on Milden as well. We know that Milden will rocket back up the spots. He really does need a great stint here after that contact with Surtees. Saw him sent into the Shadow Realm. There's WTR in the Ferrari coming in and indeed out of the pits. That's 1 mandatory done. 55 minutes left to go. The Ferrari safely back out the pits. No dramas. Jetpack and Nebula, he's seen fit to put another 3 tenths between himself and the Chasing Pack. The Chasing Pack is still being led, I do apologise, still being led by Cool Racing, Rob 2K and Malevolent Majan. He's got 2.2 seconds to make up to the field ahead though, and of course potential stewards inquiry at the end. GT Jamie, Renville, Ans, Val, Ren and Romario there 9th, SBR Milden back up to 10th position. He's only 1.3 seconds behind Romario. And not far behind Val Ren as well, so he's definitely going to retake those positions obviously when these drivers come in to take their mandatory pit stop. We've got a fair bit of time between them and himself as well. Frome and Buzzy, unfortunately, it looks like they are retired for the evening. The cars in the garage. So yeah, no points on the board. Cool Racing definitely going to get some points on the board. All the drivers will be now that the championship leader finds himself going for a damage limitation exercise. There's a lot of racing still to go as well. There's still positions there to be taken. He's closing up on Romario. He's still to take that pit stop. We've got TK Drifter. He is about 12 seconds down the road. In fact, this is... Oh, he is actually behind Milden then. So Milden has put in some pretty epic laps. He came into the pits when he was behind TK Drifter, and he's now finding himself ahead Blue Mosquito right in the middle of the two then. So that kind of slipped into my radar there, but Milden, yeah, back ahead. Rob 2K, speaking of back ahead, he's looking at back ahead of Cool Racing. This then, in a battle for second and third being reignited and Malevolent Magic. He'll be looking to jump in as well. Now less than 2 seconds separating him from the Bentley ahead. Will any of these drivers come in to avoid potentially being slowed down by any battles? Milden looks like he's got the handle on Romario. So that'll be an overtake done fairly soon. Down towards turn number 2 though. This is the three-way battle for 2 podium positions. Cool Racing, Rob 2K, Malevolent Magic, Mercedes, Bentley and Porsche duking it out. It is a Porsche leading the way. Jetpacker Nebula still well and truly in the front. 6.1 seconds. Could not have had a better start to the race. Started of course in second place. He was on the front row of the grid very quickly. Made that first place his own. And yeah, he's certainly been aided by a contact between second and third, but he has done everything required of him, and he is not only leading, he is again. You just see another 10th he's finding there, so he really is finding some serious pace come the end of the stint. The lighter the car gets with the less fuel, clearly a condition that Jetpacker is enjoying. The track still optimum, but we have lost another degree of track temperature. So 40 minutes. It's come down from 23 to 20 degrees. If it keeps on that trend, it's going to be very cold come the end of the race. Milden has not long got his way past Romario. He's now closing in on Valren. Both of those drivers still to take that first pit stop. Drifting ahead of Clay and Cray as well as Nico have all taken those mandatory pit stops. WTR and KOL Fighter have as well. That's not Romelson, that's KOL Fighter just unlapping himself then against Arms. So yeah, Arms in 7th. There's Valren coming in to take their first mandatory stop. And Rob 2K. That cap steps back ever so slightly again to Cool Racing. Valren dropping down slightly. I wonder, Nico and WTR could well be ahead of Valren as well when Valren comes out the pits. Interesting to see, of course, Valren and Nico fairly inseparable in that opening stint. Nico just coming towards the pit entrance. Valren moving now. Round the last corner is Nico. So Nico is going to be ahead of Valren just then. There's Nico tearing into turn 1 now. And Valren just on the exit. GT Jamie from 5th place. Just going through as well, of course, Jamie still to take his first pit stop. And it is Andy Cray up in the 13th and Nico up in the 14th ahead of Valren. Romelson and G. Harvey very close to one another. Again, I'm still confused as to why it's showing he's in a Bentley when he's driving a Honda. But whatever it is he's driving, he is driving it in 18th place with Ramelson just behind. These two among the drivers who have taken that first pit stop. No first pit stop still for Nebula, Cool Racing, Rob 2K or Malevolent Magin. Jamie Renville and Arms still coming as well. Milden already back up to 8th after taking his first pit stop. So he is not messed about. It's the same coming through Surtees, of course, the site where we saw the contact and spin. Malevolent Magin. Oh, that's a lot of dust kicking up in the air there. Was that Cool Racing or was that Rob 2K? Malevolent Magin certainly looking at pounds if it was either one of them. Still none of these four coming into the pits. 4.6 seconds, so Cool Racing has reclosed that gap ever so slightly, but still only 4.6. Still, not only, still a fairly whopping 4.6 seconds. And the Porsche certainly doing well coming towards the end of this stint. Oh, and just as I say that, curse of the commentator there. Malevolent Magin in the Porsche runs wide through Graham Hill, right up off to the right hand side of Cooper Straight, and he will have to lift off the accelerator for several reasons. One, you want to avoid the track limit penalty, and two, you want to avoid spinning the car and making that situation a whole lot worse, something the Malevolent one did manage to do. You're back up on track. Romario's in the pits and in fact dropped and should be leaving the pits now. Nope, okay, still stays today. Still got a two there. Clay and Drifter making their way through at Milden too. Of course, will Malevolent Magin choose to come into the pits? That little off-track excursion again could have been a lot worse. But certainly not the ideal line through there. No trip into the pits still then. Jetpacker's still out, so is Cool Racing, so is Rob 2K. Malevolent Magin out on track still. GT Jamie and Renville approaching the pit entrance, and GT Jamie dives in. Renville stays out. Arms just coming through Stirling then towards Clark Curve. Will the Audi driver pull hard right, or is he going to crack on and finish another lap? Did we see window wipers there? Oh, it is raining. I've completely missed that up on the track, but there is rain falling from the sky according to the weather forecast then. Let's jump on board and see how bad it is with Jetpacker. Oh yeah, there's a few little spots. It does say it's going to go back to just being cloudy again. So not a massive amount of rain. Could make a couple of parts of the track slightly greasy. So yeah, a bit of a Russian roulette for the drivers at the moment. That's the button we want. That's the button we want. Ooh, probably a crash at the lost sound. But it does say the rain's going to go off again in 5 minutes, so just a bit of a splash, although that is Jetpacker now with that on. So the biggest problem the drivers are going to have then potentially is their tyres cooling, and the track has just been downgraded to green. It's gone straight from optimum to green, no fast in the middle. Renville's come out of the pits. I seriously doubt we're going to see anybody putting on wet tyres, but certainly we could see drivers overheating their soft tyres to try and maintain some heat while the rain falls and the track cools. Now 20 degrees for the track temperature. Of course, we started at 23 and a very dry optimum track. Not the case at the moment. Milden's back up to 6th position then, his driving heroics. After that incident, took his early pit stop. The window wipers well and truly on for the Mercedes driver. Malevolent Magin then is caught right back up to Rob 2K. I'm wondering if Rob's made a little bit of a mistake or a bit of an issue. There's now 4.5 seconds between Rob and Cool Racing, and there's 2 tenths separating Malevolent from Rob. Either of these drivers are going to come into the pits. 44 minutes. So we're actually beyond the halfway mark in the race. So these drivers staying out for a long first stint, and it is Rob 2K then. It does come in. Malevolent Imagine. That is the rain stopped falling then. So the slightest of showers bang in the middle of the race, just to keep the drivers on their toes, keep them guessing as to what's going to happen. Track condition straight back up to fast from green. So the overheated tyres, it would appear, drying out the track very quickly indeed. GT Jamie trying to find his way past TK Drifter, who's now 18.2 seconds down on Milden. What a drive that is by Milden, considering how far down the order he fell after that contact. He was behind Drifter when he first came into the pits. Now finds himself comfortably ahead. GT Jamie on his way into pits. Rob 2K, he is now moving. Milden well and truly through. So is Drifter. Rob 2K still rolling. Clay comes into the pits then. We'll see Renville join up. Rob 2K on exit. That is another car that's gone through there. It's not Renville. It's not Andy Cray. So it must be someone. Who is that? It's the Honda. It's not a Bentley. WTR 610. Jetpack and Nebula from second place. Oh, okay, because they were so close. So Jetpack and Nebula's coming to the pits. Cool Racing has been promoted to the top. Malevolent Majin does come in to take his first pit stop. Jetpack and Nebula in as well. Cool Racing has taken a lead then. Milden's caught up onto the back of Arms. Wow, what an undercut by Milden. Wow, what an undercut by Milden. Jetpacker Nebula now finds himself behind Milden. Incredible stuff then. Cool Racing. Is he in the lead of the race? We'll see when he comes into the pits. There's certainly pause for thought there, I'll tell you. Arms looking to get a move done back on Milden. Can't see him putting too much effort into it, though. He knows he's still got 2 pit stops to take. Clay, Jamie and KOAL Fighter have all taken both of their mandatory stops. Still trying to get my head around the drive that Milden has had. What a series of laps he must put in. That is a monster undercut right there. Absolutely monster undercut. So yeah, Milden absolutely flying. Excuse me. Cool Racing has stayed out still. So he's going for an absolutely Olympic first stint. Arms has come into pits. TK Drifter is ahead of Malevolent Majin as well. Rob 2K is behind Malevolent. He's actually currently behind G Harvey as well. Who is a lap down. Arms is still stationary in that pit stop. Let's see what's happening there. That's Rob 2K. Yep, just going past. Cool Racing still staying out, so he really is going for a full term first stint. That's over half the race he's done, so it's going to be 2 late pit stops for this Mercedes. Milden took a very early pit stop, so it's almost as if the 2 Mercedes have gone from one extreme to the other. One of them with a very early pit stop, I did think was Yeah, his first pit stop, I do apologise. Looking at the timing board again. Valren and WTR are right on top of There's Cool Racing. Oh, Milden coming in for his second stop then. So there's Milden coming in for his second stop. Jetpacker Nebula not far behind. He'll retake that one there. I was actually just watching WTR, Valren and Romario. They're all very close as well. That battle could develop as the race continues. But we'll just check and see what's happening up at the front then. So Milden flashed these lights furiously. He knows he's on camera. Hi Milden. Stop listening to the commentary in case you put yourself off. He's in second place. Technically on track as we haven't seen Cool Racing come in to take a single pit stop yet. So it is Cool Racing leading the way. He's actually going to get himself ahead. Is he going to come in? He does come in then. So he has come in. So he's going to appear there just over the shoulder. So he's on his way to take his first pit stop. So we'll see Milden lead at the pit after taking his second. Jetpacker Nebula already well on to Pilgrim stop. TK Drifter just behind Malevolent Major and joining him there. Rob 2K just coming through 30s as well. This Renville on his way into 30s. Andy Cray on the Cooper Straight, so we can see Surtees, so they're all pretty close. And there is SBR Milden and Arms right on top of one another. Once again, it's Milden completed both mandatory stops off in the lead. There is Cool Racing taking on fuel. You think he'd just be going for a couple of splashing dashes, and I tell you, if Jetpacker Nebula is ahead of Cool Racing, then Milden is leading the whole race. And Jetpacker Nebula has made it through after one pit stop, so Milden is leading the whole way. And this Malevolent Magic just coming into turn number one as we see Cool Racing just exiting the pits there. So these two are right on top of one another. It's in fact TK Drifter who's got himself ahead of them both. Hopefully you guys can hear that. Just check. Nope, that's not going good. Perfect. So TK Drifter, I did say keep an eye on him to be a podium protagonist come the end of the race, and he is ahead of Cool Racing and Malevolent Magic. Now, before he came into the pits, Milden had got himself ahead of Jetpacker Nebula, who is now ahead of Cool Racing, who was leading the race when he came into pits. Quick mathematical equation would then suggest that Milden is leading the race. He's taken both his mandatory pit stops. He's got to do close to 40 minutes on one set of tyres. So he will, of course, have less grip than his competitors come the end of the race. How much of a difference we will see these drivers all still to take these mandatory stops. As we can see, oh, Cool Racing then. Back-to-back pit stops. I did wonder if we'd see an outlap turn into an in-lap. And yeah, Cool Racing. So this will literally be stop, raised, 1 litre of fuel, and back in the door again, I would guess. Yep. There we go. Milden just coming around the last corner. Cool Racing has been released, and I tell you, Milden's got a job on his hands here. He's coming through Clark Curve. That is the pit entrance. Here's Cool Racing on the pegs, and Cool Racing has maintained the lead of the race. That would caught me out a little bit there. A little bit of a tickle at the back of the throat. I do apologise. The excitement, a bit too much there, but it is. Shows you how good my mathematics are then. But it is Cool Racing who is ahead of Milden then. Not by much though. The two of them separated by not much time at all. Can Milden get himself back up onto the top spot? Romario's just leaving the pits after serving his second pit stop as well. Clay, Jamie, Romario and KOAL Fighter, along with Milden and Cool Racing, the drivers who've got all their mandatories out the way. That means Jetpacker Nebula is our on-track leader with TK Drifter in second. And Oh, that's GT Jamie. That looked like some kind of technical issue. He just rolled into the barriers there. And he's just disappeared out the server as well. That, for all the world, looks like some kind of weird disconnect. There was nobody near him. He just rolled off into the barriers and he's gone there. Ah, that is unfortunate. Hopefully everything's okay. And it is just a simple disconnect rather than an enforced sharp exit. But yeah, so that is GT Jamie. He was running for a good finishing position as well. That is unfortunate. Let's have a look at the battle for the lead then. There is Cool Racing just going past Andy. Andy Craig getting himself right out of the way. He's still got a pit stop to take. Milden then. Fair chunk down the road after those pit stops, putting an Olympic middle stint. And finds himself definitely in the hunt for a podium position. That is for sure. It's all down to these three drivers and when they come in to take their pits. No pit stop. Oh, Malevolent Majin's coming in to get his final pit stop done and out of the way. So 30 minutes to go. Three of our podium protagonists are going to be done and dusted with their mechanics. The Malevolent there, very quick stop. Cool Racing coming at the last corner. Milden. Tell you what, Majin's run a blinder here. He is looking very good. He's got himself ahead of both Mercedes then. So the pit stops, undercuts, overcuts, any type of cut you want. We've seen them all here this evening at Brands Hatch. 32 minutes left to go. Malevolent Majin is back ahead of Cool Racing. Andy Crane 7th and Milden there in 8th overall. 3rd out of the drivers that have taken both stops. So where is Jetpack and Nebula going to fit into this fascinating equation? He's just coming through sector number 3 now. That's Stirling's he's looking to navigate his way through now. Towards Clark Curve, does he respond? Does he pull into the pits? Let us see. Nope, no way he's in the pits there. Use as much of the track as possible. TK Drifter doesn't come in either. Has himself a bit of a wiggle right in the middle of the track. Rob 2K in 3rd. Nope, he's staying out as well. And Renville, he is not in contention at the moment for a podium position, but we'll see if he comes into the pits nonetheless. Nope, he stays out as well. Malevolent Majin, Cool Racing and SBR Milden, Andy Cray just down the way. Arms and Nico all inside the top 10 at the moment. WTR and Blue Mosquito have got another mandatory pit stop to take. Clay, Romario and Val Ren have all got theirs done and dusted. Currently running in 13th, 14th and 15th respectively. G. Harvey in the Honda that's not a Bentley, or the Bentley that thinks it's a Honda, the Honda that thinks it's a Bentley. I'm not entirely sure. The game certainly thinks it's a Bentley. He's in 16th position. KOL Fire is the driver behind him in the standings, but he's got no pit stops left to take. So should get that position retaken on Harvey when Harvey does. Blue flags are waving. Of course, Brands Hatch, as I mentioned, very, very short course. The drivers all lapping an average lap pace of about 1 minute 25 and a half. Around 2.6 miles of track. 17 cars we have left for this one. We did see GT Jamie disconnected mid-corner. Unfortunately, Jetpack and Nebula's come into the pits. TK Drifter has decided to stay out, so he is now our on-track race leader. To see. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing that magnetic beeping sound. I've got a bit of a weird beeping sound. It doesn't seem to be coming through on the broadcast. Hopefully not interfering with anyone's audio. Jetpack and Nebula again, another driver. Just a very quick stop and drop. Oh, and there's been contact with one of the back markers. He's managed to straighten out, but Malevolent Majin is going to say thank you very much. That gap has been massively closed there. I think that is Renville indeed, and that has shaken things right up as far as Jetpack or Nebula goes. He was looking to hold on to the lead of the race and have himself at least a second or so of a gap Now not to be. Malevolent Magin on the way into Surtees has been handed a massive lifeline with 29 minutes to go. And I would guess that Renville probably going to pop into pits on this lap to get out of the way of this battle. Andy Cray coming in to take his second pit stop. A bit of separation between the bonnet and front bumper there, as you can see. So some repairs being required on his car. Let's stay up at the front. Well, this is the battle for the lead of the race. TK Drifter, Rob 2K around. Or is it? Has TK Drifter now been handed the lead of the race with the contact Jetpack and Nebula's involved in? There is the Bentley of G. Harvey just getting in the way of the battle that he has found himself unceremoniously smack bang in the middle of. The two Porsches coming round. Does Renville? No, he does not. So Renville in third place has stayed in. He has pulled over to let them pass. He would have been better coming into the pits. That's going to be more detrimental to his lap time than pitting out of sequence potentially. Would have Cool Racing will say thank you very much as well. He's going to get a cheeky bit of slipstream from Renville to help get caught back up to this battle. So it is a three-way battle for the lead of the race. Jetpacker, Nebula, Malevolent Magin and Cool Racing the top three runners and riders at the moment. Milden coming right back into this one as well, as you can see. That's him just coming past G. Harvey as well, so not far down the road at all. These are the closest drivers on track at the minute. Where is TK Drifter going to come back out when he comes into pits? And indeed Rob 2K as well. If you look at the difference between him and TK Drifter, and then the difference between Cool Racing and SPR Milden, it could be very, very, very close indeed when he comes out the pits as well. WTR's in to take his final mandatory stop. There's Renville and Cool Racing. Malevolent Magin trying to get his way past Jetpacker Nebula there. Jetpacker really wasn't counting on this battle. In fact, Renville, yep, he's got himself out of the way, so he's free to continue on without having to worry about the drivers battling for the win. TK Drifter, he's staying out, so he's extending his middle stint. So is Rob 2K. WTR's just on his way back out of the pits. And that is, I believe, Cool Racing just behind them. No, it's not. Oh, Cool Racing! That's for the lead of the race. Cool Racing has just made a double overtake to get the lead of the race. Some light flashing from the Porsche in the background. No idea what happened there. I'm scared to jump to the replay. We can get 2 laps out of the replay, so we'll wait and see if he manages to hold this one. But Cool Racing has just pulled off a double overtake for the lead of the race into Surtees. He's got that position. I know we're going to miss someone if I do this, but let's just jump on board and see if we can make this happen. Right, this is Jetpacker, so let us fast forward lots and 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 lots. Okay, yep, so... Oh, he's got to slide into turn 1. He's had a slide into turn 1. Avoiding action was being taken. Nothing anybody could do about that one. Let's have a look at this. Ah, come on, cameras, don't do this now. So yeah, so Cool Racing rocks up to turn number 1. Jetpacker Nebby is sliding on his way in there, and he says thank you very much for the gift, and he is gifted the lead of the race. So he's once again race leader here. This time's been handed to him. Or he's the on-track leader, or is he? Is TK Drifter going to put them all to shame with the battling that they're going through? And I tell you what, Renville's very close. SPR Milden is getting right involved in this one as well. Andy Cray trying to get his way past Val Ren, who's now got a big bit of a gap between himself and Nico. Nico still with that second pit stop to take, but the battle for the lead of the race, and this is where it is at on track. Cool Racing is the driver leading the way then. Malevolent Magin in second. Jetpacker Nebula in third place. TK Drifter and Rob 2K just a bit up the road. They've still got those mandatory pit stops to take. We've got 24, pretty much 24 full minutes for the drivers still to take the last pit stop. This TK Drifter into the pits. This will be a very quick splash and dash, you would guesstimate. Already coming in the penultimate corner is the lead group, so they have definitely maintained their lead over Drifter, unless Drifter has one of the quickest stops in Brands Hatch history. He's still very much stationary, so he is going to come out behind these three cars. It will be close though. He is on his way out now. In fact, it won't be as close as I thought it might be. Milden's going to make his way through as well. Arms is going to come past. He's still going to take his pit stop. There's Arms there. He's 8th overall. TK Drifter back out in 7th. There's the Bentley. So that is 7th, 8th and 16th on track there. One's taken both his pit stops, the other two haven't. Fun and games keeping up with that one. Rob 2K, 45 laps in, still out on track. He's got one mandatory pit stop to take. That is the Bentley of Romario. Just behind him, Blue Mosquito's coming in to get his final duties done and dusted. Nico and Am still close. Malevolent Magin is the driver doing the pushing though. He was handed an absolute lifeline. Now he's ahead of Jet Parker Nebula. Handed a lifeline when Jet Parker Nebula came out of the pits, and he's absolutely not looked back. Especially when Jet Parker had that slide into turn number 1. Cool Racing made his way past both of them to take the lead of the race. 23 minutes left to go. He will be looking to close this one out for absolutely sure. Renville close to Milden as well. Still to take that pit stop. So yeah, still a couple of positions that are going to change hands. Valreno, Blue Mosquito potentially, Andy Cray looking to make moves there as well. I would show this a bit more, but every time I stop looking at the drivers up at the front, they'll have some kind of massive position swap. So let's just hang here at the moment. It is still a German lockout of the front two rows. But it is no longer Porsche dominance. It's Mercedes leading the way. Porsche second and third. Milden in the Mercedes in 4th place. Arms still behind TK Drifter there. He's got to take a second penalty, and the front bonnet not looking great. You can tell that Arms has been carrying damage. Of course, he won the first race of the series, so we know he's got serious pace. Didn't race in race number 2. Oh, look at how close Magin is getting there to the back of Cool Racing. He really is looking to take the top spot. Coming around the last corner, he's right in that slipstream. 21 minutes to go. Still a whole lot of laps. Jet Parker safely making it through turn number 1. I tell you, he's got a problem on his hands with the pace that Milden is showing behind him. There's Hams coming in to get his second mandatory stop out of the way. But as I was saying, Milden, the pace that he's showing behind Jet Parker Nebula, he knows there is a podium place there for the taking. And I'm sure he will take it with both hands open wide. Let's see Rob 2K. I just actually did double click my fingers there. There we go. Oh, drive through for track limits. If I'm being honest, I'm surprised that that's the first one we've seen this late in the race. I did expect to see quite a few of them, especially after Mazzano last week. Like I say, was it seven or eight drivers? 6, 7, 8 drivers picked up drive-throughs. 3 of them picked up 2 drive-throughs each for track limit penalties. So I thought we might see a few this week. What with this being, apologies for the creaking, what with this being such a narrow track, but the drivers have certainly traversed it for the last hour and 10 minutes pretty expertly. T. Harvey, so he's got 2 more trips into pits, 1 mandatory stop requirement, 1 because he went over the white lines a little too often for the steward's liking. phone stand has got a mind of its own at the moment, and I forgot to switch my notifications off. I do apologise. But Malevolent Magic, we're still watching, and so this is still the battle for the lead of the race. Milden on Jetpack or Nebula. Potentially going to be happening sooner rather than later, but Malevolent Magic, using every millimetre of the track there. Absolutely, as I look up the inside, all 4 tyres on that curb. He's going to have to watch. I was just talking about the in-game stewards and track limits then, and Majin certainly pushing his luck with that one, looking to get an overtake, looking for the race win. Took pole position and lost the lead of the race before turn number 2. With 20 minutes to go, he's looking to retake it. Just we can see Milden there just giving Nebula a quick flash of the lights, trying to put him off, trying to distract him. Malevolent Magic still trying to find his way past Cool Racing. This will be a very, very, very solid race when indeed he can bring this one home. 18 minutes still to go, so we've got plenty of laps for the drivers to make their way through. German engineering. Comfortably at the moment. Milden still trying to get his way on the podium. If he does make his way up to 3rd here, that'll be all 3 races so far this season. He's managed to finish in that 3rd place. So we'll see, we'll certainly see him help. We certainly see him maintain the lead of the championship. Malevolent, there's blue flags coming up as well. So the racers out the front, the leaders, going to have a bit of traffic to contend as well. They're closing 17 minutes. So catch sight on the track of who it. Valren. Yes, the next car's up the road for them is Valren. Nebula and Milden then. Milden not finding a way past as yet. Still 16 more minutes to go though. Malevolent Magic still hanging on at the back of Cool Racing. Rob 2K comes past the pit entrance once again. He does still have that mandatory stop to take. Let's see just how close Imagine is getting. Let's jump back on board. Oh, something's on a Cool Racing. Yeah, there we go. Let's jump on board. We'll stay on. In fact, let's see if it can on the left. There we go. Let's jump on the board so you can see the battlefield. Give 2 seconds. Grab a very quick drink. 2 seconds. there we go. Oh, what's happened there? Oh, that's Malevolent Magazine. Ah, okay, the camera switched. Never mind. I thought there'd been some kind of big position change there, but it's not. Jetpack and Nebula is still ahead of Milden. Oh, just Milden all over the back then. Wow, so these two battling for the final podium position potentially. Rob 2K could pull an upset if he manages to put in some serious outlaps before he takes his last pit stop at the pace that Cool Racing and Malevolent and the gang are showing. You would certainly think the ball's in the near court. Milden breaks a bit early then, look for the cutback. On his way out with Clark curving up to B. Buzzy still in the pits, unfortunately retiring very early in the race. This Malevolent still putting in the 1 minute 24s. 12 minutes left on this one. No. Ah, my goodness me. So, yeah, just as I said, as soon as you press the square button to hide the UI, to be in my defence, it worked. It's worked twice tonight so far. We didn't have that issue. Come on, please load. So we're going to load back in as quickly as we can. We'll get the last... excuse me. We'll get the last 10 minutes. Let me just pop this up at the moment so we don't give away any passwords. That is the calendar. We're here for Brands Hatch. We've had 80 minutes of racing almost so far. We've seen 6 different leaders of said race. And we've got 4 drivers battling it out for 3 podium positions right down to the end. Tier 1 and connect. So we'll very quickly jump ourselves back in. And we are running. Connecting to the server. Let's see what we've got going on. So that's the... Oh, that's Milden and Jetpacker still going at it. Oh, a little bit of a touch through turn number 2 there. Jetpacker losing momentum. Malevolent Imagine still behind Cool Racing in 3/10. Separating these two, 2/10, in fact a 10th, all but separating Jetpack and Nebula from SBR. Milden, Rob 2K still out on track with a mandatory stop to take. The cameraman still can't catch up through that middle section. Arms and Clay then changing position. Arms with that car fully repaired now. Which I'm sure he will be delighted with. Winner of race number 1 as I mentioned. So definitely got pace. There's Harvey coming into pits to take his final pit stop. Milden still looking to try and find a way past Jetpack and Nebula. These two really are trading paint. Malevolent and Cool Racing still in the battle for the lead. 10 minutes left to go. WTR trying to get his way past Blue Mosquito as well. Clay and Arms still very close after that Arms overtake. Oh, Milden right round the outside of turn 1, potentially middle line for the Porsche. Then he's going to go for the cutback on exit down the hill. Doesn't use as much of the track. Jetpack or Nebula, beautiful defensive. Gets the car right over where it needs to go, nice and early. Down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. You can see any overtakes here. You can keep this one nice and neat along. At the bottom of the Cooper straight into Surtees. And of course this is where we saw Milden and Majin make contact. Very early in the race. Saw the two of them drop back down. It's been an absolute masterclass of a drive from Milden, considering how far down the order he was after the contact. Still probing to try and find a way past the Porsche to get himself back onto the podium, potentially the podium, but there's only 15 seconds between Rob 2K, so he would need an absolute miracle of a pit stop to maintain the lead of the race after he comes out from his second pit stop. Malevolent Magic all over the back of Cool Racing at the moment, and Milden all over the back of Jetpack and Nebula. Mercedes versus Porsche, Porsche versus Mercedes, first and second, third and fourth. Cross line again, look how close, goes to the outside. Porsche moves over, takes the defensive line, and I tell you, Milden stays right on the outside this time really looking for a big run down the hill. Renville comes in to take his final mandatory pit stop. He is the penultimate driver to do so. 8 minutes left to go, and Rob 2K still to take that mandatory stop. He is just entering sector 3 now. So a bit to go before he gets back to the pit entrance. Milden and Jetpack, these two, look how close they are, right on top of one another. For this whole closing stint, these two have been the same as this battle for the lead. It's Malevolent Magic versus Jetpack and Nebula. The creaking is my microphone, not my old bones, by the way. Renville, drive through for speeding in the pit lane. So that's going to see him drop down the order. The cameraman needs to catch up for us, please. Thank you very much indeed. There is Cool Racing. It's Malevolent Magic flashing those lights, trying to distract Cool any way that he can. 7 minutes left to go. Again, flashing of the lights into turn number 1. We've got G. Harvey just on his way out of the pits for me. Oh, and that's a big send in from the Porsche. There's been a bit of contact. He's gone sideways, but he has managed to hold that, or at least hold the car. Flashing the lights once again. Milden. No such moves from Milden, but he is mirroring the Porsche in third place on track at the moment. Plenty of flashing lights at the driver ahead. WTR Blue Mosquito and Valverde are very close. Potential position swaps there. Of course, Flying Throne no longer on track at the moment, so it'll be Blue Mosquito who takes the Lamborghini bragging rights. After this week's race, we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we watched anything other than the battle for the podium position. So it's Cool Racing with a 15.2 second gap to Rob 2K, who's still going to take that second mandatory stop. Then it is Malevolent Magin. There's Renville coming in to serve that drive-through. Malevolent Magin, who has got the fastest lap of the race so far with 1 minute 24.2, all over the back of Cool Racing then. That's another minute in the books, another minute closer to the end, and absolutely none the wiser as to who is going to finish in first, second and third. First and second, certainly the main favourites at the moment would be Cool Racing and Malevolent Magin, with 2:10 separating them, and turn number 1 Jetpack and Nebula third at the moment. This one of the biggest gaps he's had over Milden into turn 1 in quite a while. It's still less than half a second. Let's see how the Malevolent one's getting on then through Graham Hill Bend along the Cooper Straight and into Surtees once again. This is where we saw him make contact with the Mercedes of Milden. No more contact since then between many of the drivers, despite it being a very tight, twisty course. Very low contact between any of the drivers here in the Tier 1 race, which you would pretty much expect given the level of times and of racecraft that these drivers are capable of putting on. And that is a terrible camera shot that took us right through the board and into a tree, but it is still Jetpack and Nebula ahead of Milden. 3:10 separating them, 3:10 separating first and second. That's another minute done and dusted. 5 little minutes left. There's Rob 2K coming in to take his pit stop. Cool Racing already at Clark Curve along with Malevolent Magic, Jetpack and Nebula still defending from Milden. Milden looking around either side, nothing doing. Rob 2K has been dropped. Is he going to start moving? He's going to need to be quick. Jetpack and Nebula and Milden safely through them. Rob 2K is moving, but he will be behind these front 4 at least, and I think he'll be behind Arms as well. Oh, and there's been a spin. There has been a spin. SPR Milden and Jetpack and Nebula in turn 1. I realise that's a lot of flashing. So we come across the start-finish line. Milden goes to the outside line. The course is maybe slightly slower than Milden would have thought, but that's yeah, still a rear end contact. So the driver at the rear by default at fault. So the stewards will look at that one. Milden himself, of course, involved in that contact, in a contact with Malevolent Imagine early doors. Saw him dropping down the order. So yeah, after me saying we'll have to see much contact from any of the racers this evening. Yeah, we're going to see two of the podium and in fact championship contenders having themselves a bit of contact. And Jetpack and Nebula now out of that battle. He's got a Ferrari just ahead of him, so that isn't for position, that is blue flags. That is Valren WTR that are battling for their own position there. Although Rob 2K now finds himself directly behind Jetpacker Nebula, so Jetpacker potentially might lose another position here, especially all the blue flags going on. Although I think Rob 2K pretty much will have the relative or the required amount of race IQ to know that really popping it and overtake when you're trying to get past blue flags that are overtaken. Not massively the done thing. And there it is, the course making its way past the McLaren. Beautifully done. Blue Mosquito respecting that one as well. Valren just getting himself out of the way. I'm sure Andy Cray and WTR will get themselves out of the way and get involved in that battle. Rob 2K, as I said, hanging right back on the back of Jetpack and Nebula now that him and Milden have been separated. And there's a fair bit of separation as well, it has to be said, although making their way through blue flags would seem to be the cause of that. There's now 1.5 seconds with 1 minute 50 seconds left to go of the race. Separating the top two. Cool Racing, what a performance he's put in. A great comeback drive by Milden as well, has to be said, but Cool Racing's kept a cool, calm head when others around him have let theirs go to pieces, and he now finds himself with 1.1 second gap starting the penultimate lap. 61 laps in the bag for the Mercedes driver, and it's going to be the maximum points haul at this rate. Great drive there. Malevolent Imagine in second. It's Milden in third. Jetpacker Nebula in fourth. Rob 2K currently in fifth place, with TK Drifter in sixth. Arms in seventh. Clay's in eighth. Renville in ninth. And Romario up into the top 10. Andy Crane 11th. WTR's 12th. We've got Valren in 13th place. Blue Mosquito in 14th. KOL Fighter in 15th, with Nico in 16th place. That's a notification that the pit window has closed with a minute left on the clock, and it's G. Harvey in 17th position, bring up the rear. Buzzy, unfortunately, finishing in the pits after just 5 laps. But still there in the pits, enjoying the rest of the race with his mechanics and pit engineers. Love to see it, Buzzy. Buzzy, sorry, there's a Buzzy and a Buzzy. Going to get me into so much trouble, these people, all these drivers, there's so many. Clay and Cray as well. Phenomenal drivers. Thank you very much for the minute. 26 also, yes, so it is the final lap. I tell you, Imagine it's closed it right back up. He's certainly giving this one up without a fight. He's within a second. He has got the fastest lap of the race. Cool Racing should have enough to keep this one. Milden will hang on to that third place. Rob 2K getting to within a second. The Jetpacker Nebula just found another 10th there as well. Through sector number 3 to finish his penultimate lap, starting the last lap. Jetpacker could find himself under a bit of pressure coming through the closing stages. Down Pilgrim's drop, our race leader Cool Racing in that Mercedes. That is Andy Cray just popping himself out of the way to let the race leaders through. 7-10 separating them. They're going to come through a time in Delta, and still 7-10 separating them, so they've lapped that second sector. First sector at exactly the same pace almost. Rob 2K, has he got any closer? We'll find out in a second. Let's go back and see what the lead of the race. Looks like they're going to come across the line and they're going to be separated by not much at all after 63 laps. It is Cool Racing coming through Clark Curve with Malevolent Majin just behind them. Excuse me, less than half a second is going to separate these two across the line. Phenomenal. 3/10 after 63 laps. It is Cool Racing takes the checkered flag. Malevolent Majin in second place with a purple lap as well. Milden is going to cross the line in that third place. Jetpacker Nebula crossed the line to finish in fourth. Rob 2K right under his rear spoiler. 2/10 separating fourth and fifth as TK Drifter finds an improvement on his starting position, crossing the line in sixth place. It's Arms who's going to cross the line in seventh, and we've got Renville, Clay, Romario, Andy Cray, WTR, and Val Ren all already been given the checkered flag. They finished 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th respectively. Blue Mosquito came home in 14th place with KOL Fighter in 15th position. Nico got himself a 16th place there with G Harvey crossing the line in 17th, and Buzzy, as I mentioned, unfortunately crashing out the race early doors and finishing in the pits. No such woes though for Cool Racing. He will be absolutely buzzing after that result. Phenomenal race that was. And I don't even know why I'm taking a screenshot because I've got no idea how to share it in the Discord groups, but there we go. That is the final classified results for round number 3. What a 90 minutes that was. And we've got another 2 90-minute events coming up. Yes, we do. Monza and Laguna Seca all on the calendar for 90-minute races. The Laguna Seca on the 20th of December. Merry Christmas. Y'all are welcome. So I will be here for that. We will be here on YouTube live bringing you coverage of that race. There is the full race calendar as I discreetly jump in. Hopefully we've got a decent amount of replay there. The game did crash and kick us out towards the end. No, all we got was the last 2 laps. Ah, well. Ah, well, no replay, unfortunately. That is a bit of a pity. But we did get to see the vast majority of the race. So thank you, Kunos, for finally putting in the spectator mode we have so craved. Just maybe fix the square button because, it's a bit annoying getting kicked out. If you do want to support the guys and gals over at... that really didn't save. 3 minutes of Brands Hatch. Nightmare. I tell you, well, let's just pop the last 3 minutes on anyway. If you would like to support the guys and gals over at Formula Racing League, of course, jump on over to the website, formularacingleague.co.uk. You'll find all the information you need there. You can jump on to Patreon. There are 3 levels for the Patreon support. You've got Supporter, Elite, and Alien. All 3 levels will receive a driver number with a reserved seat for free and an FRL Lotto entry. The Aliens and the Elites will also receive a number logo, coaching, and the new to PC sim racing guide as and when it becomes available. And for the Aliens, you'll also get an overlay banner. You'll get yearly prizes. There's a Sim Hub Dash, Elgato ACC icons, and a custom livery. That's right. FormulaRacingLeague.co.uk is the website, or Formula Racing League on Patreon. If that's what you're looking to do, then please jump on over there and support the cause. The replay is not working at all, so we'll just quit while we are behind. Lots of racing, of course, going on over at FRL. So yeah, get yourself on the Discord, get yourselves involved. That was another absolute cracker there from the Tier 1 drivers for Taco Tuesday. That was me being clever with the mic. We will be back next week. Bathurst. Oh yeah. And remember, in fact, no, it's not. Yeah, Yes, it is next week. And, of course, this Friday as well, we'll be bringing you the first round of the Endurance Cup on PS5 as well. So make sure you get yourselves tuned in for that as well. Massive thank you to everyone that took part in this evening's race. Thank you to everyone that's watched. Hello to Ian for typing in the chat. Apologies if anyone else did type in the chat. For some reason, Streamlabs doesn't like me getting involved with the chat. So, but thank you to anyone that did get involved. My name's Double O Raven. I will be back again the same time next week, bringing you more coverage of the Tier 1 Taco Tuesday from Formula Racing League. Until we meet again, stay